How's it going, everyone? Matt from Backer Club here again with another creator interview. This time we have Bubba Albrecht from Giver. He's a four-time creator, and the brand has been around since 2012. How's it going, Bubba?
How's it going, Matt? Great to be with you and excited to talk about our project and what we have brewing up here in Jackson, Wyoming.
Awesome. So yeah, we just have a few questions for you, and we're going to jump right into them. So
Beautiful. Game
for
on.
for someone that's brand new to Giver, can you give us a brief overview of the brand and what it stands for?
For sure. So we're based in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I have the original hat here, which is pretty beat up. But we have an iconic mountain range, the Tetons. A lot of folks have heard of Grand Teton National Park or Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So the mountains combined with the phrase, it all stems from a kayaking, canoe, fishing trip that started many years ago, but on the fifth annual trip of its kind up into Ontario, Canada. I made these hats as kind of a commemorative, celebratory
Hmm.
item to just kind of mark how cool this trip is. And it happened to be that year, it was four friends who were living in Jackson. So the combination of the mountains and then this colloquial phrase giver that is very representative of what a trip like that takes. Like, give it your all, go for it, get after it. And they were going to be introduced to this term in Canada. So made these hats and we had an awesome
Mm.
time, a great trip. Takes a ton of energy to get there out in the middle of nowhere, a lot of gear, a lot of logistics that sometimes are not fun, yet it enabled this that year. I think it was a 7-day trip out in the middle of nowhere, and we had a ball. And afterwards, people, myself included, kept wearing the hat. And I don't get stopped on the street very often by strangers asking about my fashion sense or anything of that sort. Yet people would, it was very surprising to me. They'd stop me and be like, dude, where'd you get that hat? What's giver mean? And it was kind of a slow build over the course of, half a year that people kept asking. And it was enough that I was like, all right, well, maybe we can make some hats. And so started off with, okay, what does it take to make 20 hats? And then we did a couple of t-shirts and launched a website back in March of 2012. And that was the impetus for everything at the beginning. It was 2 hats and 2 t-shirts, figure out what it's like to start a website. And so that was the beginning. And I'm kind of I like to fidget with things, I like to play with gear, make improvements. And within that first year, we went to the local hardware store and bought 5 different types of leather gloves and a wood burner. And the goal was like, all right, can we get this logo on a pair of leather gloves? And again, just kind of tinkering. It wasn't like this grand vision from the beginning. But there were a couple styles that worked well, and people came through the kitchen when we were tinkering and baking them in the oven. And they're like, oh, you guys do gloves now? And we're like, maybe. And how much would you pay for them if we did? And I think we sold the first pair for $30, which wasn't it wasn't a good financial model, but it was just something to get going. And we kind of kept pulling on that thread. And in the first year and a half or so, we bought out the hardware store of the gloves and then other hardware stores in the region. And we were selling a lot more gloves than we were t-shirts and hats.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was really neat. People were like, these are great gloves, make for great gifts. We're hand branding initials or names on them. But we'd love a leather glove that was beefier, that could handle colder
Mm.
temperatures, more snow, more precipitation. And so we kept getting that feedback, and that's what drove us towards the 4-season glove, which we launched on Kickstarter back in 2016. That was
Yep.
a big, big moment and the result of several years to bring those to life.
Yeah, 10 years ago on Kickstarter. What a different time, you
Yeah,
know?
that is true. Is true. But, at that time, the essence of what Kickstarter is all about, and it fit perfectly with kind of the struggles is like,
Yeah.
oh man, we have this cool vision and we've been working on this prototype. Like, it'd be really neat to bring it to life. And at that time, several other people in Jackson had launched products via Kickstarter, and we just kind of got synced up
Mm,
well with Launch Boom is an agency that we worked with, and they were just getting going. And so a lot of the universe energy came together and was like, oh, okay, this is what Kickstarter is all about, is to help bring something to life through crowdfunding support. And so that really unlocked the potential for this. And through the help of over 2,000 backers, we brought those to life and then continued to learn what it is to produce that many, ship them out to people. And so that's kind of the beginning or the origin story of our presence on crowdfunding.
yeah. So it's a really cool one, I think, because it goes back, quite a while in a different time.
hmm
And, I think I really like that. So can you give us a brief overview of these new Expedition Split Mittens that you guys have live on Kickstarter now?
Yes. So the Expedition Split Mittens, I've got a couple here, some that are beat up more than others. So we have, since the Four Season Glove campaign, we did in 2019 what we call the Frontier Mittens. And that was the result of learning from the Four Season campaign that, like, hey, these gloves are great, but I am a mitten person. And I was like, oh, what's a mitten person?
Mm,
Tell me why you want mittens. And again, over 3 years, learning and understanding of what has directed people towards preference for mittens over gloves. So we learned a lot from that to launch those in 2019. And warmth was the biggest thing. Is like I have
yeah.
Raynaud's, or my hands get cold even if it's 30 degrees. So warmth was the essential piece for the Frontier mittens, and we ended up combination of crowdfunding, Kickstarter and Indiegogo. We sent out 13,000 pairs, so it was a huge
Wow.
leap for us. But again, combining what we learned from the Four Seasons and having sold a
Yeah.
lot to people all over the world since then, and the Frontier Mittens, the Expedition Split Mitten was, okay, what happens? Spoon and fork, you make a spork, gloves and mittens, we make the split mitten. What was really cool is playing with over the last couple years, how the elements of dexterity for a glove as well as the warmth for a mitten combine. And the big piece with having this index finger isolated, which I can be very transparent, I was quite skeptical of the design, as like, okay, what do you really gain by having the index finger separated? But with all the layers, insulation, and having that index finger on its own, I was blown away and continue to be very transparent that, holy smokes, it does make a huge difference, whether you're handling snow machine or opening a car door, hanging onto a
Yeah.
dog leash, having that one finger, and the amount that we rely on the pointer finger for kind of fine motor activities or opening something. It really does make a difference. And then you've got obviously your other three fingers hanging out together and staying warm. So truly is a hybrid. And then we've obviously, again, building on all that we learned from the other campaigns with the Four Season Glove and the Frontier Mitten, is layering, finding out what's the balance of bulk and warmth, as well as being 100% waterproof, which is
Mm,
something that a lot of company or a lot of producers will say it's mostly waterproof, but we spend a lot of time ensuring that they are 100% waterproof.
wow. Interesting. Very
Um,
cool.
so the end result, and we ended up combining with, you can see here, it's a wax canvas. So there's a lot of products that are kind of timeless and used around here, whether it be for ponchos or parkas, raincoats that are made of wax canvas that is, I mean, it's really tough material. We chose that as kind of the combination of, if we're going to have awesome cowhide leather that's meant to last forever, we're going to use wax canvas as well. So the goal in making a product like this is it is indestructible, without
Wow.
being made of Kevlar.
Yeah.
But the goal is that you have a pair of split mittens here that are going to last you for a long time. And again, similar to our other products, they're meant to be snug to start, but then they break in and form to your hand. So just like a
Mm,
cowboy boot, or think of a baseball glove as another good metaphor or analogy, that it gets better, shapes to your hand. And then our goal is that you have a product that you take care of, and it gets better and better with time, not something that like, oh, you have to get a new one every season, or as soon as it breaks in, it falls apart. It's like, no, these are built to last for a long time, something that you'll hopefully be handing down to your kids, and getting many seasons out of.
that's very cool. So going back to the dexterity, I actually had a quick question.
Mhm.
You can use that pointer finger, and I know that, everybody has a smartphone these days. Can you actually use the pointer finger on a smartphone or no?
So we made a choice there because we've heard a
Yep,
lot over
of
the years
course.
of like,
Yep.
hey, is it touchscreen compatible? And we've chosen to refrain from
Okay.
building that in. A lot of the products we've tried that kind of highlight the touchscreen
Yep.
compatibility, it's not super reliable. And
Yep.
the way we kind of thought about it is, okay, if you're out giving her in the wilderness or just being outside when it's really cold, um, be in that moment, be
Yeah.
doing what you need to do. And we did design these to be easy to take on and off, such that if you did need to pull out your smartphone and tweet or be in touch with somebody, you could, but then get back into the moment. But that's a great question and something we
Yeah.
definitely consider.
Yeah. I like that it like kind of stands with the brand. It's like kind of tries to keep you off of your smartphone at the same time, right? Like, so I like it.
But we understand that
Yeah. It's a
smartphones and
fact of life
technology are
now.
yeah, it's a part of life. So it's not uh, like adamant we do not use smartphones, but more of
Yeah.
we opted to really focus on other attributes and features.
Cool. So I have to ask, it's you kind of sort of answered it, but I wanted to know if there was like a one particular point. So like, where did the inspiration for the Expedition Split Mittens come from? Was it just like, oh, we have a bunch of people asking for a split mitten, or did you like, have just an idea to create it? Like, where did the inspiration for this one come from?
It was kind of a combination from both the feedback from the Four Season gloves and the Frontier mittens. Uh, there were certainly folks who were like, "Hey, I want a lobster claw or a split mitten
Yeah.
style." But then, as our community has continued to grow and we continue to get that essential feedback from our customers, there were certain use cases and scenarios where it's like, I wish you had something that
Mm,
allowed for, you know, further exposure or more snow or colder temperatures,
yeah.
to add to the quiver, not necessarily in place of the Four Season gloves or the Frontier mittens, but more of like, hey, what could you guys come up with? In addition to those who are like, hey, I love the lobster claw style. This is what I
Yeah.
use. I work at the ski resort or I run a dog sled, and like this is the style that I need. And that's obviously in the very beginning days, we didn't have necessarily the feedback or um, the
Yeah.
community size to kind of necessitate that.
Cool. I had another question. So, where do these kind of gloves fall, especially for maybe the people that might already have a pair of the Four Seasons or the regular mittens? Are these gloves actually like thicker? And then people who don't have the Giver gloves at all, like where do
Mhm.
these land? Because I know gloves come in a very big, wide range of like heat levels, right? And so,
For
like,
sure.
where does this glove fall in that
hmm
range?
It's a great question. So these have overall the insulation layering system, which on the page you can see we kind of do a cross section of how all the layers fit together. But that's where we spent most of the time over 2 years playing and tinkering with the right amount of warmth and insulation, but not being so bulky that you can't do anything
Yeah.
with your hands. But it ends up being anywhere from 1.5 to like 1.25, um, in addition to the Four Seasons of the Frontier mitten. So
Okay.
more insulative capacity. Um, so that's a key piece is like these are the warmest and beefiest
Yep.
product that we offer for, the coldest of cold temperatures. When it comes to the world of gloves and mittens out there, again, a huge piece is that it's not waterproof in the realm of, oh, we kind of spray some stuff on the outside and it
Yeah.
keeps water from getting in. But there's a whole membrane that covers the entirety of the split mitten that is 100% waterproof. So
Wow.
we showcase that in the videos of dunking my hands into a pot of boiling water. Is like, okay,
Wow.
either I'm crazy, which there's a high likelihood of, or okay, these are 100% waterproof. So that membrane, and it's not a cheap nor easy thing to achieve, but
Yeah.
that being 100% waterproof is essential. And then something that's really important that kind of um, weaves into all of our products is you see that these have like a patina to them. So we're
Yeah.
baking them in the oven here and coating them in beeswax. So that helps to keep water out on the outside.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it is to protect the leather itself. Like this is the best cowhide leather that we can find. And it's a little stiff to start, but as you use it
Yeah.
and break them in,
So,
all the other leathers that we've played with, while they might be soft to start or easier to
yeah.
break in, the longevity piece is the essential element. So the only thing as tough as cowhide and that's waxed is the wax canvas. So that was the complementary piece that brings them all together.
Cool. Just one more quick question. You could have these gloves for, I don't want to say 50 plus years, but it sounds like it. What would, just briefly, the care look like? Is there any special care, or you normally just treat this almost like a standard set of, like, maybe cowhide boots or something like that?
hmm That's a great question. A lot of it depends on what you're using them for. So if you think of abrasion being the biggest variable. So if I'm
Yep.
working, say I'm working on a oil pipeline or on a ranch and I'm like removing a ton of fence and barbed wire, like anything that would be scratching or having a lot of abrasion,
Yep.
the care would be applying beeswax to them to again help protect that leather for the long haul. So we do sell wax, and those packets are available. Using wax plus baking in the oven is a great way to clean them off. So say you got a bunch of oil or de-icing fluid or diesel fluid on them. The best way, it's not soap and water, but using a warm cloth. You can use some warm water, but then using oven and heating to kind of loosen up the pores to
Mm,
then kind of
interesting.
rub them off. But similar to a boot, leather boot,
Yep.
um, the main thing is retaining that natural moisture content of the leather
Yep.
and preventing dirt, grime, things from getting inside the leather to then decay.
Very
Um,
cool.
and one piece, again, something that's kind of threads throughout all of our product line. These are meant to last for a long time, and on this one, I have Kickstarter branded
Yeah.
on it. But
I was gonna say
something that's
something.
it's been again since that original day in the kitchen, kind of messing around with the wood burners that we brand
Yeah.
name or initials on them. So that's something that has been carried out through our three Kickstarter campaigns that have
Yep.
gloves or mittens, and it is it's a labor of love, and I've branded thousands of gloves and mittens. But something that is a product that is meant to last for a long time. It should have your name on it, and something that you should, we believe you should take care of and take pride in that.
I know. I was gonna say something about that because I did notice that you could get them branded with your initials or name for $8, and I thought that was, like, very, very reasonable in a world where stuff is pretty expensive to have custom done, but, like,
hmm
$8 seemed very, very reasonable.
That's, we've definitely played with that over the years, and certainly there's people like, oh, you got to charge more for that. And
Yeah.
at the root of it, like we just kind of look at things. How would we ourselves feel about
Yeah.
customizing something? And we want to make that very approachable to folks because, yes, it does take time. And, branding each letter by hand, like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of variability. It's not like we have a robot doing it.
Yeah,
Yet,
exactly.
the connection for us, like when brander goes to leather and at that moment it becomes, your mittens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that. So now can you talk about any environmental sustainability aspects of maybe even the brand or the product?
hmm So at the root of what we're making and kind of why we exist is to, we understand that there's a lot of different gloves and mittens out there, and there are ones that are cheaper that um, totally appreciate people have their options and can choose whatever. But our overall goal is less of a churn of a product in that,
Yeah.
oh, let's make something that someone has to buy every year, and instead really focus on all the materials and the intentionality behind the design such that you make something that's going to last for a long time. That, of course, comes with cost, and certainly time to figure out all these different elements and how they play together. But when it comes to sustainability, our goal is to make something that's going to last for a long time. And so it isn't to say, oh, this is, recycled leather,
Yeah.
or that the, wax canvas comes from a specialty production line, but simply
Yes.
looking at it in the long term of making something that is going to take care of you, take care of your hands, enable more adventuring and opportunity, but
Yeah.
most importantly, that it's going to last, not for a season or a year, but for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think
I
of,
like that.
but to get into the backstory, I have two older brothers, and I would say all my gear from like growing up was just hand me downs, and I got a lot of stuff from my uncles as well. But without really knowing it, I was trained deep in my core that like, okay, stuff that can last through
Yeah.
two older brothers and uncles for 40 some years is like, that is, I mean, that's kind of how I judge any kind of gear or equipment
Yeah.
is like, it should be built to last that long. And it's not easy to do yet through testing things out here, whether it be just day to day shoveling snow or throwing bags or moving equipment at the airport, like beat them up to the extreme, all these different iterations and prototypes to know at our core, like, okay, these can handle what we're presenting to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that. In a world where, we have a lot of throwaway items, to have something that lasts a long time is kind of a rare thing these days. So I,
hmm
I really like that.
And I think, I mean, the coolest part, or what we see as cool, it's obviously, up for debate or people agree, is that with use and time that they, rather than, the saying of like, oh, a new car loses half its value when it drives off the
Yeah.
lot, that a product or a piece of gear that gets better with time, or that you truly like connect with, like
Yeah.
it takes on, a look and a feel
Yeah.
that is yours. Like you own that story and you own the look of that glove. These ones are like, we set these on fire and coated them in lighter fluid, and these are real beat up. But this is, I mean, an example of trying to test out all the craziest things that you
Yeah.
could possibly use them for. But the yeah, the patina and the story that they tell is like something that we celebrate.
Very cool. So I know like with you guys already have an audience. And so with all the ways to like launch a new idea, why do you continue to keep coming back to Kickstarter?
It's a great question. What's been, I mean, 2016 till now, the facts remain the same that, we're a small team, and in order to produce something that is a big step forward for us, it requires that crowd support. A bit of it is, okay, it necessitates that we believe in this product enough. So it's not like, hey, let's just throw it out there and see if people like it. It's like, okay, we believe in this, but now let's put it out in front of the world and seek that support. And, um, we obviously were really excited about these and are not just casually putting products
Yeah.
out there. But it enables us as a team to take a big step forward and to more or less have that demand or interest verified, in addition to just the finances of it. Is like, in order to produce these, we got to take a big step forward. And so kind of ensuring that there's a demand for it, and then financially being able to fund the production, and then certainly to, reward and to give gratitude to our backers who help bring it to life. They get them first and they get a great deal, and certainly welcome them into the community to then provide feedback, insights, such that just like the gloves, like we can always get better and find ways to improve on what we do.
Yep. Very cool. So, last but certainly not least, is there anything you'd like to say directly to the backers?
Um, yes, actually, a lot of things. No, it is a really cool and not take it for granted reality that we can exist in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and connect with people all over who maybe even just have a soft spot for what it is to be a gear company, or to be a startup and trying to be scrappy and make something happen. But the reality is, through crowdfunding and through the backers and these 4 campaigns, like, we're able to exist, and it is not taken for granted. It is something that we have put a lot of energy into and continue to dedicate ourselves towards delivering what we say we're going to deliver. And in general, over the last 3 campaigns, and then including this one, we strive to over deliver and really show the love back to the backers who have made it all possible. So it's a wonderful reality that in this day and age that we can connect with people and um, bring something to life that 30 years ago wouldn't have been possible.
Awesome. So, yeah, there you guys have it. Bubba Albrecht from Giver. Thank you so much for your time. And if you guys get a chance, go ahead and check out the Expedition Split Mittens live on Kickstarter right now.
Right on. Thank you, Matt, and thank you, backers, for believing in us and helping us to bring to life our newest product. So really psyched.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Bubba. Take care.
See you guys.